I'm talking about balls deep. I'm talking about balls deep. I'm talking about balls deep in love.
Okay. What is up, foxes? I Jet. I am here to do a video with you. This is weird. These are two things that happened in 2021 that I am happy will be gone for 2022. I've had to drink a little bit because this is very odd, strange, personal, slightly, and very disturbing. I'm going to tell you that right now. If you guys are very sensitive to CP and pedos, things like that. If you're sensitive to hearing shit like that, you might not want to listen to this video. That's all I'm going to say about that. So let's begin with the least horrible thing in my life that happened this year. The first one is just to let you know that sometimes you can choose your pharmacy, but sometimes, as great as it seems, your pharmacy might not be that great. So let me give you context for this one. I have fibromyalgia, and my fibromyalgia is very painful. So I took a combination of medications to take care of that. And it's very hard to constantly each month bounce from pharmacy to pharmacy to be able to get your entire prescription. You know what I mean? Those of you with pain disorders understand what I'm talking about, especially with a prescription written for 30 pills. You go to a pharmacy, and if they say, oh, yeah, we have that, but we only have 15. If you take the 15, your rest of your prescription's null and void. So, yeah. So I had to bounce around to 3 different pharmacies before I found this pharmacy I have now. They're actually really good because they order my medications and they know that I'm getting them each month, and they know... They call me because they know I forget things. I have fibro fog and it's really bad. Sometimes I will not notice that I need to refill my medication, or I'm going to be out in 2 days. They would call and let me know. This is how great the pharmacy was. They would know I forget things, and they would call and ask me, do you want us to refill this? It says you need to take it every month. And it's like, yeah, thank you. I actually was hospitalized because it was near a holiday, and my old pharmacies wouldn't do that, and I would forget quite easily, or they would not have ordered the medication, and it was very difficult for me to get things. But one year my medication got messed up because of that, and I ended up becoming quite angry and eventually hospitalized for 3 days. So finding a pharmacy was important for someone with a pain disorder, or a lot of medications I have to take for chronic problems each month. So I found this pharmacy, and they were phenomenal. They knew I forgot things, so they'd call. They would always have my medications ready. I would tell them when I want to pick it up, and it would be ready. You know what I mean? They knew my name. They knew what I had. They were very on top of everything. And even when I stopped taking narcotic pain relievers for my fibromyalgia, they were right on the money with the rest of my medications. You know what I mean? They knew, okay, she's going to need this month, so better order it before I even ask. So I thought I found like the perfect pharmacy. Yeah, they didn't. So yeah, that was a thing. In September, I found a article which I guess I'll toss in right here. That says my pharmacist was caught selling medication, narcotic medications. And not only just him, but a cashier. It was a year-long investigation by 2 different law enforcement entities. And he also sold to an undercover cop. So my pharmacist is awaiting trial right now. And yes, he's filling my medications, but he's going to be indicted, I'm pretty sure, for drug dealing. Yeah, I thought they were on the up and up, okay? To be honest. But yes, they were ordering medication that then later would sell on the street. Yeah. I know. So, eventually the one pharmacy I found that was amazing and goes above and beyond, soon he'll be behind bars, most likely. That's what happens when you sell to an undercover cop, though. Let's remember that, kiddies. Okay. This one's very difficult. You gotta bear with me. I don't really know how to start this, so I'm just gonna start and just hope it's coming out right. I had a friend, past tense, that used to live with us on and off. He, in total, stayed with us for 3 years. He lived with me and my family. Never had a problem with him. He was fantastic. Was always there when we needed him. I mean, was always down to help us with anything. Knew I was a crazy asshole. Never cared. It was great. Until he got married. I got certified to be an officiant for his wedding so I could marry them on Halloween. And the 2 of them were a disaster and a half, let's put it that way. This is very difficult. It's hard to know what words to say and what not to say. Okay, I'll just go from there. The 2 of them were a horrible match. It was a horrible match. The only problem with this is this woman was an SA survivor, I guess you'd say, when she was younger. She had a daughter that became my friend's stepdaughter. This is very hard. Like, I thought I would know the words, but I don't. Let's see. They got married, and it was one person went to 3 when he got married. And they eventually moved out of my house. But unfortunately, come to find out that after they moved out, bad things happened in their home. They were on the verge. They were on the verge of divorce. To give context, so when it all came to an end, it came to an end that no one could have predicted. He ended up abusing his stepdaughter. At the time, I think she was 8 or 9 when, and it started after they left my home. So nobody knew. There was someone living in the home when this was all going on, and they didn't even have a clue. That's how good he hid everything. And I mean everything. He hid everything. And it was very hard for us to believe, because up until this point, he's never been this way. He never would have done something like that. But it seemed that when it came to the end, that it was inevitable between the two of them, his ex-wife and him. Now, when it all came to an end, the police were contacted and he was taken into custody. We immediately thought she was just trying to get out of the relationship scot-free because she was pregnant with someone else's kid and he didn't know. So it was very hard for us to grasp in the beginning, considering he lived with us for 3 years and I have 2 kids. He never did anything to my children. He's also lived in homes with other friends that had kids, and he never did anything to them. So we didn't know who to believe. Considering she did nothing but lie since the second she got here, we thought he was just getting railroaded. But then we realized they both lied a lot about everything. And no one saw anything or noticed anything. It's like we didn't know who to believe, and we couldn't believe what anyone was telling us anymore about between these two. But in the end, she ended up calling the police, which she should have done a while ago, but she didn't listen. She'd found a picture before of something that she believed was sexual, and we told her to get your daughter checked out, and she never did. Had she done it, maybe this could have stopped sooner, but it went on. No one knew, you gotta understand, no one knew who to believe. From the second she showed up in Maryland from Arizona, she said that her daughter had been essayed before by one of her boyfriends, or at least abused. Like, it's very hard to believe anybody that immediately says that the second they get into town to strangers, because we're pretty much strangers at that point. She also told one of our other friends she had a brain tumor that she never had. So, I mean, like, it was very hard to believe someone we knew who'd never been this way before would do something like that, versus someone who lied constantly to us all the time. But come to find out, he pled guilty to rape and child pornography. come to find out it was true, and he was lying just like she was lying, and no one knew what the fuck was going on anymore. We'd known him for over 20 years, and you think you know people, but you don't really know people. We were supposed to testify on the case for the prosecutor. Basically, just a small snippet in time, like I said, when they found the drawing, and we had advised her to go to at least the pediatrician and get her checked out, and she didn't. That was what we were supposed to testify to, but apparently they didn't need us anymore, which made us think that the truth that we were going to tell on the stand, which was 100% the truth, would make them both look bad, so they decided not. And plus my friend proceeded to, say he was guilty. Now, you'd think this would be the end of the story. He said he was guilty, but it's not. While the case was dragging on, the ex-wife decided to tell the police that she thinks something happened with my children. No, never did. We took them to social services like we were asked so they could answer questions in front of a, basically, it's for kids, it's someone to sit in there as a mediator to make sure everything goes kosher. We were not allowed to go in there. It's not like we wanted to anyways. The kids were just like, why are we even doing this? I said, it doesn't matter. Just tell the truth, answer their questions 100% the truth, and we'll be done. The kids still didn't believe that he could do anything like this. All they know is the ex-wife was always high, and her daughter was always dirty and diabetic, and her mother never really took care of her. That's what the kids knew, and they watched it. So they're thinking that this woman's a liar. But when they got brought in there, they told them that he never did anything to us. Any of us. Also told them about how, he barely ever babysat us. I have a thing against single males babysitting kids. It's just how I have, a brain damage about it. So, it was not that there was anything wrong. He didn't give any vibes. It could have been anybody, but if you're not in my family and you're single, I just didn't feel comfortable with them watching my kids. That's just how I felt. I explained that to the cops that talked to him, and it was over. They didn't, by the end of it, after talking to both kids, they had no idea why that was even said. But I think it was just to piss me off. My kids weren't supposed to be in it, but they became part of it because his ex-wife and him were having problems, and it was a court case. It was bullshit. I don't mean like it was bullshit as in it's all a lie. I mean like my kids were never brought into this whole predicament. But eventually it got worse. So much worse. While he was in jail, he started to realize that life sentences could be divvied out for some of the shit he'd done and the incriminating shit they found, and his cell phone in their apartment, things like that. So he decided he was going to get in touch with someone on the outside who was supposedly going to kill them. As you all probably know, the person he was connected with to get to kill his family was an undercover cop. He sent them a letter giving out information, things like that. So then they got him on solicitation to commit murder. 2 counts, wife and daughter. But it gets worse. It gets worse. He sent this guy 2 letters. One asking him to kill them, and the second asking why they're not dead yet. I shit you not. I fucking shit you not. Me and my husband went to almost every one of the hearings and stuff, so we heard every bit of information. And the final sentencing, they wouldn't read those 2 letters, but they did specify that in the second letter, he was quite angry that they weren't dead yet. It's like the nerve of him to not only ask this stranger to kill his wife and stepdaughter, but then he sent a letter yelling at him for not doing it already. Like, I never thought anyone could be so stupid, but then that happened, and we realized he was not only a liar, but he was fucking stupid. Honestly, we were done pretty much at the beginning when all this broke out. I just, it was unbelievable to begin with, and then it was absolutely ridiculous towards the end. The girl is still with her completely unsafe home, but is away from my friend because he got 1 life sentence for rape of a minor, 10 years for child porn, and 2 more life sentences for solicitation to commit murder on his wife and daughter. So, yeah, that was a thing. And that happened in 2021. It was finally over. And we watched him being sentenced, and then that was the last time we pretended we ever knew him. It's really a testament to you don't really know people. I mean, you know them, but you don't know them. It was a very horrible experience, and it was it's hard to explain. It was senseless and something that didn't need to happen. Obviously. But when he did go to jail, we were helping his father, because his father's aging. And just to get rid of the guy's stuff and get his ex-wife, her stuff back. Because his father was aging, and it's just not very... He wouldn't have been able to do it on his own. So we helped his father. And we were ridiculed quite a lot by people that were our friends but had no idea what was going on. All they knew was what our friend did and assumed we were standing by him even after he'd done this. And it was not really him, but it was his dad we were trying to help. because he had given us, me and my husband, a place to stay long before we had kids. So we kind of felt it was our duty to help him take care of everything. But ever since it was all taken care of and done, I haven't written to him, I haven't spoke to him. I don't accept his letters. We don't accept phone calls, nothing, because of what he did. And lying. Lying is a huge thing. He definitely lied a fuck of a lot. And we kept our mouth shut, even though we were being criticized, because people had no idea what was going on. They just assumed we were helping a pedo. But it was just like, in the beginning we thought one was lying, but the other wasn't. And then it turned out that they were both lying. And the horrible shit happened. But I mean, everyone thinks they know how they would react when something like that happens, but no one knows how to react. You wouldn't believe that the person who's your best friend, who's there every time you need them, who lived in your house for 3 years, you would never believe they would do something like that. Because they'd lived in homes with kids before and nothing happened. He did nothing. But now, this bad shit happened. You don't know who to believe or what to do. You just get frozen. So you help in the best way you can, and then you have to wash your hands of the whole thing and move on. In my opinion, the young girl should have been taken out of the mother and his custody. I think she should have been taken by social services, but that's just me. That's just me. My friend tried to tell the judge that it was just a lapse of judgment. And I shit you not, the judge actually started his sentencing with, you don't have sex with kids. It's, yeah, it's a no-brainer. And you can't say it's a lapse in judgment if you did it for 3 years. That's not a lapse of judgment. Lapse of judgment is once. But not for 3 years. I mean, like, it's difficult. You don't know how you're gonna react to something when it happens to you because you don't want to believe it. You don't want to believe the worst in people, especially when they've never been that way before. And then eventually you have to realize you should believe the worst in people. I think you believe the worst in people, you will never be surprised when they do something shitty. You'll just be ready for it. It fucked up our entire world. Because this is supposed to be your best friend. And you lived with him. And you used to get up early in the morning and take him to work. Because you didn't have a vehicle. And you bent over backwards for this person. But now, they're pieces of shit. Sorry, there's people in my house. But yes, he got 3 life sentences in 10 years for all that he did. And now he'll never get out of jail. And I think I'm satisfied with that. That makes me happy. It turns frown upside down. But the whole beginning to end was just surreal and horrible. And unfortunately now, after going through this, I think anybody's capable of anything. And that really fucking scares me too. It really scares me that now I believe that anybody's capable of fucking us over. Okay, well, I think this is the end, my friends. These are the two things that happened in 2021 that I am happy will die in 2021. Great pharmacy, love them, but that's a no-brainer. Drug dealers, imagine that. And then our friends given 3 life sentences and 10 years for CP. Yeah. I am so excited 2021's dying. It's a whole new year to look forward to, and the bad things have come to an end, so maybe 2022 will be such a great year. I'm hoping. Now that I've dredged all this shit up, I'm gonna go finish drinking myself into a stupor. It's been a while since I've had to actually talk about my friend and his abuse of his stepdaughter and solicitation to kill them both. So I'm gonna go drink. Happy New Year. Like, share, subscribe if you want. It's up to you. Be nice. It's optional. Try to recycle. It would be nice. Don't light house fires. It's not what we do around here. No bueno. And behave if you can. And let's 2022 hurry up and start already. I hate this year. So yeah. I'll talk to you guys later. A whole nother video, whole nother time, whole nother vibe. And I won't have drank like a shitload to do my videos. This one was just a bite in the ass. You probably hear gunfire, and I do apologize for that also. We celebrate a little different here in Maryland and DC. So thank you guys for sticking around, and thank you guys for enjoying my shit. 2022. I can't wait. Deuces.